Hi, my name is Charles Chewacom. I'm 23, turning 24, and I have focal generalized epilepsy, which means it starts on one part of my brain and goes all the way generalized. The only thing is, it's on each side of my brain. No, these are not the exact points. I don't know where in my brain it starts at. But it starts on each side, and then it goes into generalized, which means it takes over my whole brain. And I can't have surgery to get it taken out, even though it just starts in one and starts in specific points on each side. I can't have it taken out because if they do surgery, I could end up brain damaged. And I'd rather live with epilepsy than be brain damaged. But either way, it sucks. And I just had a seizure last night, and I'd like to inform you on, not even inform you, just tell you how aggravating, how annoying, how frustrating it is. It's not it's not like, oh, well, poor me. It's not, you can get information about epilepsy everywhere. You can look it up and people will tell you about seizures and certain seizures, and then you can get all the information you want. But you won't ever realize what it's like until someone's told you what it's like after having a seizure. I had one last night, and I had a grand mal tonic-clonic, which is the doctor's name for it, grand mal, which everybody else really knows it by. It's kind of the older name. It sucked. I was hanging out with friends, I was watching TV shows, I was just chilling, having a good time. And, by the way, I've been out of the hospital for about a couple weeks now from having a video EEG done where I'm forced to have seizures. And I've been taking my pills like I'm supposed to. I took my pills like yesterday before I even had my seizure. So that's what makes it scary, is you don't know when a seizure is going to happen, or how it's going to happen, or what kind. They just happen. It's miscommunication in your brain. And last night with my experience, I remember, like I said, talking to my friends, hanging out, having a good time. I was talking to my brother online and everything. And then next thing I know, I'm laying in bed. And my husband, oh yeah, I am married. He's a good husband because he gets it. Not many people can deal with this. And at least with starting over. Basically what I've done. I've started over. When I was little, I was diagnosed with generalized epilepsy. I should let you know that. I was diagnosed with generalized epilepsy when I was younger. I ended up with being diagnosed JME, juvenile myoclonic epilepsy, which basically meant I knew I was going to have it for the rest of my life. Just not as bad, I guess. I don't know. What I do know, it sounded a lot better than focal generalized, which is a lot scarier to me. And so yeah, the fast forward, my husband knew about him, and thankfully he's used to dealing with them, and he's able to help me when I need him. Like last night when he made sure I got after I was done having my seizure, he made sure I was safe during my whole seizure. And then he came and he brought me into the bedroom after making sure I was awake. Now the problem is, that's what everybody else deals with too. Like, they get to see that. They get to see me have the seizure. They get to they get to be scared. They get to be whatever. And it's scary on each end. I get it. But it's really scary when you have no clue what's going on. I didn't realize I passed out before that. I thought literally everyone had left and it was super late. It was only like 10 o'clock when I ended up in in my bedroom, which basically means when I woke up from having my seizure, all the way woke up, fully conscious. My husband made sure I was at least conscious enough to walk to my bedroom. Now, what I know is I used to be able to get people would snap me at me, and it'd be weird and be like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "You just had a seizure." Now people can probably snap at me, ask me questions, do whatever they want, and until I sleep, I guess, I don't know that they're doing it. I don't even remember them doing it. I don't remember how I got from one room to another room. And yes, that's a scary thing, because not being able to know how something happened, and everybody else just gets to remember this. And I bite my tongue during my seizures. I pee my pants, so it's not just like they witnessed a seizure for me. It's like they witnessed part of my life I don't really like people knowing about. And I just recently decided to start telling people, because, like I said, nobody understands what it's like to be on the other side unless you actually have seizures. It's scary. I started this process when I was younger, like I said, and now I'm back at square one. And if anybody watching this has seizures or epilepsy, and you know what I mean by square one then, where they have no clue what's going on, and they just give you medications, and you just have to pray that they work, otherwise you don't know what's going to happen to you. You don't know when the next time you're going to have one is. You don't know what the problem is. This is my second time being at square one. And I'm married. I have my own place. Thank God I still live in the town where my mom lives, because I don't... Going through square one the first time was hard enough, especially since I was a kid, but being out on my own and having more responsibilities and having a job and I had to pay bills, and that's what people don't get, is that it doesn't just take effect in one part of my life, and that I just have seizures and I can live life functionally and normal and easy. It's a lot harder. I don't just get to go out and be a normal 23-year-old. I have to be worried about certain things. And plus, the things on top of that I'm already supposed to be worried about. Like bills, except now it's 2 times worse, because what if I don't go to work? Which, I'm only grateful that I have my mom. I know some people out there that probably... I don't really personally know them, but I'm pretty sure there's people out there that don't have jobs because they have epilepsy. And then nobody will hire them, or they just can't get the job that they want. I've been turned down for a job once because of my epilepsy. They just wouldn't admit it was my epilepsy that caused it, to not hire me, but everybody here where I live knows that I have epilepsy, and people in a small town talk, so I know. But they didn't personally tell me it was my epilepsy, but if they know, and trust me, they don't want to get sued, so they'll just tell you that it's because they found someone better, even though they don't know. So I'm happy I have my mom to be able to give me a job, to stand by my side, to be with me through this. I'm lucky to have my husband, who he learned to deal with it through going and watching his brother, and so he understands what goes on. And he's learning more just by me complaining to him about having seizures. and epilepsy. And, yeah, seizures and epilepsy are two different things. You can have a seizure. Everybody probably will have a seizure once in their life. So then you may know how I feel. But epilepsy, so much worse. I'd rather have one seizure in my whole lifetime than have many, multiple, and 3 different kinds. Ever. Pretty sure most of you would agree. I'm happy I have my mom, because I wouldn't have the job I would have today. I'm a sales and marketing assistant. Now, that's just because my mom owns the business. I'm happy. I'm so happy I have her as my boss, because I can go on to my doctor's appointments without worrying about, am I going to get fired because of this? I don't have to worry about, hey, by the way, I don't know if I can take off this, I don't know how long I'm going to be gone in the hospital, but can I still have my job when I get back? I know I do. But at the same time, she still pays me like the rest of her employees. I still have to earn my money, and I still have to go to work to make the money. And that's hard. When you're constantly either tired from your pills or tired because you have a seizure. And last night having a grand mal and not being able to remember being woken up from it and being told I had one, and then seeing my husband just standing next to me in my bed and being like, by the way, again, just to let you know you had a grand mal because I had to ask what's going on, are you leaving for work? And it's 10 o'clock at night and they don't even realize it. They don't even realize people are here. It's frustrating not knowing something. Especially when most of it is so long that you don't know. It doesn't just start because the seizure started. It starts even a little bit before the seizure even happens. It's the pre-warning. Your memory just goes, or at least my memory just goes blank. And apparently, like a couple minutes later, my memory's still blank. And no, I didn't want to cry during this video, not gonna lie. But I kinda glad I am. Because this is how it really feels. It hurts. It's scary. I'm going through finding different medications again that I'm not sure will hurt me or make me better. Or make me worse. I just feel like I'm getting worse. I have an apartment I'm not sure I'm going to be able to keep anymore because nobody really cares. What landlord's going to care if you have epilepsy or not? They care about getting paid. They don't care if you have health problems. They care about getting paid. The electric company, they don't care about health problems. They care about getting paid. The cable company, they don't worry about if you have health problems or not. They want to get paid. Disability, I don't know if they care. We're still trying to figure that one out. Because they could only consider certain things a disability, but when you can't even afford anything because you're constantly in and out of the hospital, or constantly in and out of the doctors, or just constantly in and out of work because you're constantly having seizures, it's hard. Because you don't know if you're going to make it. And it sucks. I pretty much got called a shitty wife the other day by some ambulance people. By the way, I just want to add that in there. This is what happens when you have epilepsy. And you can't drive because you haven't been able to get your license. Yeah, that's another thing. People with epilepsy, we don't get our license until a certain time. Our doctors say it's okay. And we have to be 100% better, pretty much. Like, no seizures for 3 months. And that's just in Wisconsin. I've looked it up. That's just in Wisconsin. Some states it's longer. And I feel bad for those, even worse for those people, because I'm going insane. I want to drive so bad. People who tell me they hate driving, it's horrible, it sucks, it's because, you know, they have to spend money on gas, whatever. At least you have the option to go somewhere. You have the option to leave. You have the choice at some point to just get up and go. And go get gas in your car. And even if you don't have the money for that, you still have the option that, you know, you had the option to go and get gas before. You had the option to put the money in there for the gas. Or, you know, you get mad at, you're like, oh, the drivers are horrible. Well, guess what? I'd rather have to deal with horrible drivers than not driving at all and having to deal with everybody drive me around. Because people driving me around is not fair. Not for me, not for them, not for anybody. Nobody involved it's fair for. Because I pay gas money to my friends that drive me. Or at least I try when I have the money for it, because I went for a while without a seizure, so thankfully now I have money for it. And it's ridiculous. And now I'm paying for their gas money, and then I don't feel like it's enough, because now they're running low again, and I need a ride somewhere. But back to the ambulance thing, what I was going to say about how felt like a shitty wife. Because the fact I can't drive, I was unable to bring my husband to the hospital one day when he needed to go to the emergency room. And I will let you know, I called everybody on my list. Pretty much everybody in the area that could come and pick up my husband. I called. I called multiple times. But you can only call so long before you realize that that person needs to go to the hospital and you can't wait any longer. So I had to call up one of my friends that I knew was at work. And that's how come I knew she couldn't come get him. But I knew she'd answer and she would be able to call 911 for me, because I wasn't able to find a phone to call 911. And no, apparently Google Hangouts does not let you call 911. And so I called 911. And the problem my husband has is migraines, these really excessive, horrible migraines. I can't remember what they diagnosed him as. But there's a point where his pain rate just gets too high and he needs to go to the hospital. And, excuse me. And so, I had to call his friend, and his coworker, and let her know, call 911. And so she called 911 for us, and gave them our address. First people on site are the cops. And they're cops in town, they know me and Adam. They were very nice about everything. The first responders got here. Some of them probably know who we are because they've been here quite a few times because of the same problem. And they keep telling me, oh, make sure he gets pills, make sure he gets pills. But, you know, every single time I've gone to the hospital, except for the last time, he was not prescribed anything. So it's kind of hard to give him something we don't have. So, yeah. So I'm trying to keep him unfrustrated, keep him calm. I had to take one of the EMT people, or the first responder people, aside and let them know we're doing everything we possibly can. It's basically my fault because I had to go to the hospital. So he's been more worried about me than his own health issues. So we're trying. And yeah, my husband has health issues on top of mine, so that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. But he ended up going, and I ended up telling her she needed to, you know, just get the ambulance people for us so we can get them to the hospital, so I can just get the medication and get them prescribed something. One of the other people I've known for a while, one of the other first responders I've known for a long time, she was a secretary at her school, She was super nice. She knows I have epilepsy, so she kept me calm while I was stressing out. Kept my husband calm while he was freaking out. She was at least trying to keep him as calm as possible. He was more worried about me being calmed down because I was stressed out. When I get stressed out, I have a seizure, and it's happened before where they've almost just taken me to the hospital and left him behind because they apparently don't believe that his problem is big enough. But that's not their judgment call. That's mine and his. And so, anyways, we finally get to the hospital. But the whole ride, they don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to them anyways. I didn't want to talk to the ambulance people because when they got there, they just kind of blew it off, it felt like. So, like, they didn't really think it was a big deal. Like, whatever, we're going to get him to the hospital and whatever. He's just trying to use this. Which apparently was the right thought that they were having, is that we were just abusing the ambulance, and why didn't I drive him? And we were told by the doctor that the ambulance had told us, or the ambulance men had told them. I'm pretty sure they're called EMTs, but you know, I just had a seizure last night, so I don't really care what they're really called. The EMTs, the ambulance people, whatever. We were told that they had said that we need to stop abusing 911. Now, I can understand them saying that if, you know, like, I could drive or I found a ride, but I had explained to them before, I did try to find a ride. I can't drive. I'm not risking my life and my husband's life and everybody on the road's life to go to the hospital so that way he can get some treatment. I'm sorry, I love him, but not enough to risk our lives, because I don't want to be the one that kills him in the end, because I had a seizure on the highway or on the road, anywhere, and I crashed. That would be horrible. So, yeah, of course, my last option at 3 in the morning when no one's answering their phone, and I've called a bunch of people that live close enough in the area where they can come and get me and my husband, and I was told that I'm abusing 911. Now, I'm sorry that I can't drive. Anybody who has epilepsy and is married and their other person has problems, their spouse has a problem, or their partner has a problem, and they've called 911 before, be careful, apparently, how many times you call. Because apparently, if you can't drive and you have epilepsy, and that's what I'm saying, if you're one of those people that just can't drive because you have epilepsy and it hasn't been long enough for you to go get your temps or go get your license or anything, be careful how many times you call 911, because apparently you're just not important enough. Apparently, if your spouse does not have a super bad issue and they're not dying in your living room, or seem like they're dying in your living room, which, by the way, my husband did fall and break something. And, like, he fell on it and broke it. He broke our glass table that we had. Fell right on it and broke it. So, yeah, you know, they didn't check for any of that, you know. Not that he fell on glass or anything. So, be careful when you call 911. Because apparently you can abuse it if you can't drive. Because, you know, I totally love calling 911 and being told I'm a shitty wife because I can't drive my husband because I have medical issues. And I didn't try hard enough, apparently, even though my husband was in more pain, and he's my number one issue when he's in pain. So there's that. I also want to let you know that after a seizure, it gets really hard. Okay, when you don't remember anything, and you're just too tired to care, and you wake up the next morning, and you realize you had a seizure, but all you know is that your tongue hurts from biting it, yeah. It's not fun. And peeing your pants during it, not fun. There's so many problems that come along with it. You don't know what the next day is going to hold for you. I was actually going to get up today around like 8 o'clock, go to my friend's house, have her bring me to church with her. That was my plan. I do make plans. I started to, at least. And I really don't like doing it because of this reason. Because I don't know when the next time I'll have a seizure. And I made a plan, and it went down the drain just as quick as I made it. And it sucks. Because now I'm afraid to go anywhere. I'm afraid to do anything. I'm afraid to leave my bed. Like, I'm at the hospital all over again, except this time there's no doctors. It's me. Just me. No friends over. Nobody here to help me. And then sometimes that's just the case. Sometimes that happens. It's scary. I've had a seizure when I was alone. I'm lucky I didn't hurt myself. Worse than just biting my tongue. I had it in my bathroom, which is extremely small. I felt just the right way so where I wouldn't hit myself, apparently. And when I got out of it, I was getting ready for work that day, by the way, and I just got out of the bathtub from taking a shower. That's scary. That is the scariest seizure I think I've ever had. Because I was alone. I didn't know what to do. No one was here. And I didn't even really know what happened. All I knew is I bit my tongue, and I used that as a key to help me figure out, did I have a seizure or not? It's the only way I find out, if nobody's here to tell me. And it's scary. It sucks. Especially not knowing when you're having them. I probably could have just had tons and I don't know it. I don't. I will never know unless someone tells me. If I look like I'm daydreaming, I'm probably having a seizure. If I look like I'm daydreaming and I twitch a little bit, I'm probably having a seizure. If I just go into a full-blown grand mal or tonic-clonic, which everybody knows pretty much looks like, and if you don't, trust me, they're scary, and you can look them up. They're not fun. I've got the video EEG. I'm gonna upload it sometime so people can see it. What's like for when I have a seizure. But mainly I want you to know the after effects. It's not like I just go snap back to normal. I have to take a whole day to recuperate just from one incident. A 30-second incident. This time it was 30-second incident. I've had a minute incident, I've had a 2-minute incident, I've had 5-second incidents, I have had many very different lengths of seizures. I've thrown up after some, I get sick before some, sometimes I get sick during some and I just throw up afterwards and I don't know why. Like, I just don't know why I did it, but I did it, and that's what happens. Sometimes I don't even know I'm doing it, and I just find out later. Because people tell me. Not knowing is the worst thing in the whole wide world. Okay, next to cancer. I'm pretty sure cancer triumphs not knowing, actually. Because I really honestly would not want to have cancer. But not knowing, I also don't like. I don't like not knowing what's happening to myself. I don't like not knowing what's going on. How are you supposed to ask the doctor questions when you don't even know what's going on? What am I supposed to ask? Am I supposed to ask about, why did I bite my tongue? Because I had a seizure, and I guess that happens. My tongue twitches out to the point where my mouth starts grinding on my tongue. I don't know. And sometimes I feel weird asking like, I don't feel weird, actually. I ask doctors questions, as many as I can now, because I want to know. But that's because I don't get to know. And it's frustrating. and I have to have so many rules. I can't, I don't get to decide when I want to have kids. I don't get that choice. I don't even get the choice if I have kids or not, honestly. It feels like. That's what it feels like, at least I should say. It feels like I don't have that choice. That's not in my control. I have to make plans for that, which we all, like I've told you already, plans don't seem to normally go the way I want them to. I had a 5-year plan. Now that I'm going back through being diagnosed all over again, I don't think I'll ever be able to have kids. Because it seems like my seizures are just getting worse. And it scares me. I'm getting really tired now. It's been about half hour. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry you sat here for a half hour watching it. You could have stopped at any time. I just wanted somebody, if anybody watches this, I just wanted you to know what it's like. You get really tired. You get frustrated. You get annoyed. You get angry. You get angry at everything. Not just the fact that you know, that you had one. You get angry at yourself for even having them, and then you get angry at the fact of what happens during them. You get angry at the fact that there's nothing you can do except take your medication, and when the medication's not working, then there's definitely nothing you can do except to have it and deal with it. And people just act like it's nothing. Unless you have it in front of them, and then they're like, oh, look it, that actually does happen. If anybody watches this, and if anybody took the time to stay through the whole thing, and you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I do want to do a rundown on this though real quick. For tonic-clonic or grand mal, they're the same thing. Do not put anything in the person's mouth. Don't move the person. Don't try to restrain them. Make sure they're in a safe environment. Make sure there's nothing around that can hurt them. And if it lasts longer than 5 minutes, or they do something during the seizure that can hurt themselves, and that means besides biting their tongue, like some serious injury must have happened for you to call 911, or it lasted longer than 5 minutes, because otherwise it's not going to help them at all if you call 911. Or if it's their very first one, then you might want to call 911, but if you know someone with a case of epilepsy, don't put anything into their mouth during the seizure. They're not going to choke on their tongue. I'm sorry. They'll probably bite it, but tongue muscles grow back. Unless they bite off their tongue, then yeah, call 911, but don't put anything in their mouth ever. Ever. Just don't. They can choke on that. And you don't want to make it worse. Don't restrain them from having the convulsions. It's not going to help. That could actually hurt them. You could end up hurting them. People with... Oh, and like I said, only call 911 if they hurt themselves extremely bad during the seizure, or it's lasted longer than 5 minutes. You can do this research online. It's very simple. Go to any Epilepsy Foundation organization website or Facebook page or anything. They'll have tons of info for you. Now, people with epilepsy, please let people know you have it. Please. Don't feel like you have to be ashamed of it. I was for a long, long time. And, no, I have to deal with it for the rest of my life. I can't be ashamed of myself and who I am for the rest of my life. I don't like that part of me, but I can't be ashamed of it. At this point, I can only tell people what it's like afterwards. And that's it. And try to help people out. And that's what I've decided to do. Every time I have a seizure, I will be posting a blog afterwards. And this isn't only just for people to get information about what it's like to have one. Because honestly, all I can give you is that I don't remember anything about it. All I remember is waking up and being super scared. And not knowing. And the not knowing freaks me out. The not driving and the not being able to do certain things like normal adults do freaks me out. It makes me upset. But every time I have one, I have more to say about it. So yeah, every time I have a grand mal, I'll be doing it, but it's also so that way I have a memory log of at least having a seizure so I can show my doctor. So it's kind of benefit for me and if anybody watches it. And if you did watch it, thank you again. I hope you learned something if you don't have epilepsy. If you do have epilepsy, I hope you're not afraid to tell people how you feel. And I don't want you to feel weird or different or abnormal. I'm going to let you know in a little secret, everybody's weird. Everybody's abnormal. Everybody has a problem. And if they say they don't, then that's their problem, is they don't know it yet. Everybody is weird. And it's okay. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, that just makes you extra special. No. Because, you know, I know you don't feel that way. I don't feel extra special just because I have epilepsy. I feel less special because I have epilepsy because why? Why do I have it? Not fair. Now I'm going to let you know, it just makes me an extra awesome person, and that's what I think. If you have it, you're just an extra awesome person. But that's just because you can learn to deal with more things than others can. If you have a problem, you're just extra awesome because you can learn to deal with certain things that others will never understand. So, I'm going to go take a nap because that's what I need after having a seizure last night. My body's still really tired from it all. I hope everybody has a good day. I'll post the link to the blogs of my backstory of everything if you want to read those. I hope everybody has a great day. And for the people with epilepsy, I hope you don't have a seizure. I'm praying for every person with epilepsy to at least have one free day of seizure free if you haven't gone without one. And people, please understand, I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not asking for pity. I just want to let you know what it's like. No sympathy, no pity here. I don't need it. I have enough around. So I'm not gonna lie. It's not like I don't get sympathy or pity. People give it to me. It's annoying, but I get it. But I'm not looking for it from here. Like I said, I just want to inform people who don't have it and don't understand it fully. Like I said, you can look at as much info thingies as you want, but unless you know what goes on behind the scenes of it, of treating it, behind the scenes of how the person feels, then you'll never really get it. No, like I said, I'm gonna get going. My body's tired. I'm ready to pass out. So, I hope everybody has a good day. and make your day amazing and awesome and enjoy everything you can. Because that's all you can do at this point. That's all anybody can do, is enjoy what you have in life.